Hello everyone, I am here because I want to show you this new kit from Hero Arts that I'm very excited about bringing this new card that I've made using their Honey Pot Fancy dies that came out as an add-on to their 2021 January kit. From that kit, I'll be using the honeycomb stamp, one of the bees from the kit, and the honey lacquer pen. I truly love these pens that they have. I am also going to use this rectangular die from Simon Says, for which I'll be die cutting my white cardstock that measures 5.5 by 4.25. And here is the Honey Pot Fancy Dies. It's just a cute die with all the details that it has, and I'm going to use all of the dies because why not, right? I have pre-cut all of my pieces, so this video doesn't take longer than it needs to. I've used I have used different cardstocks for all of these dies to make it look like a honey pot with the 2 honey dippers and the lid. I have this old paper pad from American Craft for which I use the pattern paper for the lid and the honey dippers. I'm placing my piece of white cardstock onto my MISTI in order to heat emboss the honeycomb using Versamark ink and Lawn Fawn gold embossing powder. And I'm going to place the honeycomb piece and stamp it with Versamark ink on the 4 corners of my cardstock. And the fun thing about this stamp is that you can position it anywhere you want to, and that is what I did. I turned it around several times so I don't give the same position on all corners. I am using the gold embossing powder and removing any extra powder. Then I heat embossed it with my heat tool and repeated these steps on all 4 corners, as you see me doing here. As you know, I always use my Spectrum Noir Markers to color all my paper pieces. I fell in love with this die after seeing Nicole Spohr making a card. Hers turned out so pretty. You need to see, I'm sure you already watched her videos. She comes out with really good ideas. She has this really good, she plans it all out really well, and I really admire her. So as you see me here, I die cut the Honey Pot Fancy die with yellow cardstock, and I'm just shading it in with my Spectrum Noir markers, as I said, and using different tones of yellows. This pot looks dimensional because of the lines it has throughout the honey pot. I usually start out with my lightest color and proceed with my darkest, and just going back and forth between lightest and darkest until I am happy with the look. I brought out my distress inks and grabbed the vintage photo and blending it in on the corners, edges, and not so much in the middle because that's where my pot will go. I'm just going back and forth with my colors. Well, it's only one color, so I'm just going back and forth, shading in all the areas. Excuse my phone, you guys. Okay, so from that pattern paper that I showed you earlier, I used it to die cut the lid, and then I used this craft baker's twine and wrapped it around the lid a few times. And I'm going to adhere the string with tape. This is a very easy to hold on in place than using your regular glue. Now, after making the bow, I put a glue dot on the back of my bow and glued it in the middle of my lid. You'll see me doing that very soon. So I'm just making sure the bow doesn't move, just holding it in place. I use 4 foam squares to the back of the lid and adhere it to my honey pot to give it some dimension. Pressing it firmly, making sure that it doesn't fall off. Now I'm going to work with my honey dippers, but I first want to show you that I die cut the honey word in 2 colors using gold and black cardstock just to see which one I like the most. And I decided to leave the gold cardstock on top and the black one behind it, as you see it on the right side of my screen. Okay, so going back to the honey dippers, I'm going to color them using my golden brown colors markers to give them that golden color look that honey has, and worked from the lightest to darkest, and I'm also coloring the edges of them. Now with a pencil, I made a mark on where I want the pot to go on my card, glued the back of it using Tombow Mono liquid glue, and adhere it to my panel. I did the same with the honey dippers. I love the details of these dies. They make it look so real. And me personally, I love honey with bananas or honey on bread. It's delicious. Also honey on tea too. It tastes good. So if you end up putting glossy accents all over the honey pot, as you see me doing here, let it dry for a couple of hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours, or leave it out to dry all night long like I did, and start working on it the following day. I'm making sure that I'm applying the glossy accents everywhere where you know there will be honey. And before I glued the lid, I made sure that with a red marker, I went around the lid and then adhere it to my pot. I love these lacquer pens that Hero Arts have. They are puffy with a little shine and it dries fast. I don't know if you have seen one of my videos from using Hero Arts. I believe it was like a birthday kit, and they also included 3 lacquer pens. They were yellow, pink, and blue, I believe. They're very pretty. I love them because they're puffy and they dry fast. So I decided to apply a dot of it inside the hexagons to give it some interest to this card. I just like the way it turned out. So now I'm going to adhere it to my card base which is this craft color cardstock. Before I do that, I am going to stamp the honeycomb to the bottom left of my card base and heat emboss it with gold embossing powder. I like using this cloth that you see me using here on my Misty because you don't need to apply too much pressure on your stamp. It's a lot easier than doing it, pressing it down with your hands. So the bee was colored in using my brown and gray yellow color markers and blending them in from the lightest to the darkest. And for its wings, I use my color grays and light blues. I really like the way that bee looks using the colors that I have used. I like the antennas too. Okay, for the antennas of the bee, I used the black lace pen. I also used my Wink of Stella Glitter Clear brush to add some sparkle to the bee. So I decided to glue my bee on the top right hand corner, making it look like it's flying down to the honeycomb, right? I like the idea. So now my card is coming to an end. I'm gluing this piece to my card base, making sure I press down firmly, just giving the final touches and making sure it looks good. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I truly hope you liked it and got inspired to make a card for your Valentine or a friend. I'm very happy with it, guys. I hope you are too. And I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. And maybe you can subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Take care, guys, and be safe out there. Until next time, bye.